Hi, everybody. It is Jinx here from Cost Talk Live, and it is Jinx Unstitched episode number 190. Thank you so much for joining us. I know Sunday afternoon, it's super chill. That's how we're going to run this show today, just super, super chill. I have my guest today with me, which is a little bit different because you guys usually see cosplayers on here, but I wanted to get a different point of view, and I've invited Ashish, also known as Plaid Hippo, and he is a cosplay photographer. So we'll start with introductions. Even though you guys know me, I will start with my introduction. I'm Jinx. I've been cosplaying for about 24 years, and I am based in Arizona. I primarily like video game cosplays, but I've done all sorts of different kinds. My usual skill, my strength skill is sewing. So that's really where I like to spend a lot of my time on my cosplays. And as part of CTL, we also run a lot of the cosplay and programming for UwuCon. So UwuCon's coming up really quick here. But yeah, Ashish, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, guys. I'm Ashish Mehta. I am the photographer for Plaid Hippo Productions. Usually I work with a team, including my wife and one of my closest friends. And we have been doing cosplay photography for probably 8-10 years now. I started photography about 15 years ago, but kind of switched from local model scene type photography over to cosplay, which I found just a little bit more interesting. And so that's kind of what I've been doing, and I've been lucky enough to meet wonderful people like Jinx and others, and been able to create some really cool shots. So I love doing that, and looking forward to doing more.
Yeah. Oh, and Somnomat, what is that little icon?
He's sending hippos.
See from that. Like, oh,
he's sending hippos. Thank you, Matt.
You know, okay, so totally off topic, but we have like a group chat or whatever, and I kept seeing this little icon on like something that I'm like upset about or something, and it was a hug emoji, and I think we might be slowing down. How are we looking over there? Can you ask your colleague Trish? Are we moving okay?
Let's ask.
I think so. Everyone that's new, my connection's pretty tricky, so if it becomes an issue, I have Thermo as a backup. It's okay?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So yeah, somebody watching out for us. My guardian angel.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So we can start with how we kind of met. I actually think I was invited to the princess shoot. Do you remember that one?
I do. Yeah. That was one of the earlier ones we had done. Yeah. Princesses. Okay. We did Disney princesses, and I found a little location near me in Chandler, and we had like 8 different princesses and variations.
I think there was a little more than that, but
yeah.
Yes. So I cannot remember who invited me, but yeah. So when was that? 2020.
It was before COVID, or was it after COVID? I can't remember.
God, I can't remember either. I know it was before Uwu because you came and shot.
Yes,
Uwu.
It was definitely before that.
Yeah. So maybe it was before COVID because I don't remember being so like. What about the Sailor Scout shoot? Because that was not long after.
I think that was one of the early ones. I think that's actually where I remember meeting most people. So I'm not exactly sure which happened when. I'm not known for my memory. So.
Okay. No problem. Well, I'm pretty sure though it was the princess shoot that came first because I had to prepare for the Sailor Scout shoot. But yeah, so we kind of started that way. I usually meet photographers, at cons. So it was a little bit of a different way that I met you at a specific photo shoot that you were hosting or you were the photographer for. How did you feel about the princess shoot? Was that one of your first big groups, or how did that come along?
I've done some groups before. The person that I worked with on that asked me to be part of that I had worked with her before a couple times, and she was really curious to try to get together a large group. She had princesses, and I knew a couple of different people that had princess outfits. So I kind of reached out and helped her set up, like, okay, let's, I know you've got Jasmine, you've got Aladdin, whatever, we kind of worked that out. And she had some ideas that she wanted to do, and I knew the location that I wanted to go to. So we kind of worked together to plan that, and it worked out really well. I was pretty happy with the results. I have to admit, I love the idea of like going back in time with, I don't know, my now hopefully better than that 5 years ago skill set and equipment, and just seeing what can I do again, right? But it's fun to see it. It's fun to look back and remember just being out there. I think for me, that's one of the things that I love most is, especially when you get that group environment, is there's so much excitement and passion for the characters, and oh, I saw this character did this, I love that part, or whatever, that kind of stuff, and people are so happy about it. And I think that joy is kind of what makes shooting cosplay so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a lot of comments. Okay. Insomnimat is watching from YouTube. He says, love the wall of badges behind Plaid. Shout out to those UwuCon badges. Can't wait to see you this year. Yeah, for sure. I don't have my badges up. Okay, I guess I got to get my badges up, but I have badges up too. You've got a ton of like ribbons too, I see. Whoo, all the way down.
Wife. That's the wife going to a costume college, and she collects these badges, and she apparently knows everybody on the planet. So I'm proud of her.
Yeah, and so on Facebook, Letitia's watching us. So that's your lovely wife, and she's often at events and helps out. So lovely, lovely assistant. Hi, both of you. Love you both. Happy to see you. And from Twitch, God loves you, Z. Plaid Hippo, love your photography. Awesome. Yeah. So let me pull some photos up first. But we did, so the one of my most favorite shots photo shoot was the Sailor Scout. I think we had, every single, hope not.
I think you're frozen, but I can hear you.
Let's try this.
You're back.
Sam, you might have to jump in here. Okay. If this doesn't work, we'll have Sam jump in and fix it. Okay. Am I cutting out? Am I okay?
Nope, you're better now. Well, you look good to me.
Oh, gosh, okay.
Matt says no video, only sound.
Okay, thanks. No video, only sound. All right, can you see me now? Insomnimat says, I think I met...
Oh, he says...
The first time I met Plaid was at Uwu, first year when I was Milo Pokemon, and we did some photos. Yeah, that was the first UwuCon as well. But... So here is a group shot. I think we had all the scouts, right? Are we missing? Oh, no, we had Saturn. Where's Saturn? Oh, there she is. Okay, Saturn. We have the outers. Yep, every single scout. So this one was a lot of fun. I remember when we were planning this, we needed a location, and I had shot here before. This is the Chandler Gilbert Community College. Oops, I gave our secret away. But this was up on the bridge. So let's talk about putting that group together. Like, whose initial idea was that?
I have a pretty strong memory that was Marina.
Okay.
I think Marina was really interested in doing that. She talked to me about, what we wanted to do. And I said, yeah, I'm happy to shoot a group. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So that was actually my first introduction to a lot of folks. And it was great. We had a really good time going up there, and we were able to make that shoot work out pretty well. I think Brian helped me on that one, like he often does. But yeah, most of the driving force behind that one was actually Marina. I think, Jinx, you mentioned the location, which I was like, hey, that sounds great. And I actually took my wife out there a couple of weeks before the shoot and took a couple of test shots, and I was like, this is beautiful. I think I can make this work. Let's do it. So I kind of okayed the location and said, yeah, let's make it work. And it turned out really well. We had a lot of fun with it. We did everything from these cute shots to individuals. We did some silly stuff where, one character's goofing off with the other in the appropriate relationship way, which again, that's what makes cosplay fun, right? Is everybody knows the people that are there all know these characters and know that this person should do this to that person, and silly stuff like that. And it's always fun telling those stories. So and we just kept going. And I don't know, the shoot, it's funny. I plan shoots, but I tend not to ask for how long or tell people how long it's going to be. Like a lot of photographers are like 30-minute shoot, get the hell out, I'm done. And it's like I don't work that way. I want to make it fun. I want to make it worthwhile, and I want to make it possible for you to tell the stories you want to tell. So and this one came out really good. I was really happy with it. The sunset was a paid actor there, so we had some good looks from everything there. It turned out really well.
Yeah,
And
we had
Jinx,
a
you're on
ton.
open
I had
shop
to
there.
just cut. Yep, that's me. Yeah, so a couple more comments. You guys are awesome. Kevin Smith watching us from Facebook. Good evening. Insomnimat, that bridge is so pretty. Didn't know that's where it was. Super cool local spot. God loves you, Z. Chandler Gilbert, my alma mater, CGCC, best theater crew ever. I can't remember how I found this, but I was like looking. I think I did a shoot before. I did a shoot as Starfire and Raven. So, I was like, I want something spacey. And I think I literally Googled like space style venues to shoot at in Phoenix, and I saw this picture of that bridge, and I was like, oh my god, where is this? But yeah, these shots, we went into the evening, and these shots were just great because if you guys are not from Arizona, I'm gonna say it, like, we have the best sunsets anywhere. Like, I've been all over the place. We have the best sunsets anywhere. So golden hour in Arizona is just prime. So this was a really great shot. We got everybody in line. You can see everyone. So much fun. And I think the next one is of me. Oh, nope, that's the wrong group. Let's see. Where is my nope. Okay, hold on a second. I'm like jumping ahead here.
Cosplay too.
Where's my Sailor Mars? Okay. Yeah, we'll get to that one. That one's fun.
Sailor shoot, didn't I?
Oh, sorry, you said what?
I said I did do individuals at the Sailor shoot. I know I got all of you guys individually.
Yes. Yeah. So we got a couple of shots. I really love the way, because these different like loops are lit up different colors. So that was a really great addition to this venue. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember which one of our team helped come up with the coloring suggestions on that, but we did colored lights, and then we hid them in boxes so that you can't tell what they are. We did that. Those are our lights. So I would have the lights, and they had remote control. So every time I clicked the button, the whole thing would light up, and it turned out pretty well. Some spots I think it worked better than others. It's just kind of how it happens. But a little bit of effort, and you're able to get it to just look good, and it turned out really well. I was really happy with that. It did give a really nice pop to it, right? It creates a nice frame.
Mm-hmm. I forgot that you guys brought the lights, and those just made so many different variations of really great photos. A couple of comments here. Is it Migo OD 6 on Twitch? Yo, dude, your energy is crazy good. Loving the way you handle your stream. It would be good to connect if you're down. Okay, I guess that's an ad. Roy Foreman on Facebook. Hi. Letitia, I still have that box if we ever want to hide the flashes in the background again. Okay, that's cool. I think somebody else who asked. Oh, here it is. God loves you. Jessica, are you ever going to do a shoot with Plaid at that awesome tunnel at the Val Vista Lakes Club? So here's the thing.
Keep talking about it.
Tunnel, I know, but I've done so many shoots at that tunnel because I used to live like half a mile away. So I haven't had a desire to go back just because I've personally just been there so much. But I think did I bring you there?
I haven't shot there. Okay.
Yeah, so I can bring you there. I don't necessarily need to shoot there, but I would probably have to think of something new to shoot because I think I have like 6 different looks I've shot down there, and I can always tell when somebody's shot in the tunnel. But so what kind of genres do you prefer to shoot? Are you more like you like to do the comedies or the deep stuff, or like what do you like to shoot?
It's funny. I vary wildly, but the things that make me the happiest are when I actually can understand the fandom. I feel bad because I haven't been great with like learning anime. There's so much out there. There's so much content, and it's difficult to be like, oh, I know you. You're that character from that season of that episode of blah, and it's just like straight over my head, no chance. But like for example, the princess shoot. I was like, I've seen every Disney movie. I know what all of you girls are. and I was able to go and enjoy that. And it, it makes like I can connect to it, and it makes it very easy for me to go, hey, I think Jasmine would do this, or I think Belle would do that, and I feel like I can participate a little bit more and make it so that it's not so much the onus on the person, but I can be a driver for what we want to do. So I think that helps because the shoots just come out a little bit more fun that way. And for me personally, especially if it's content that I like for example, a couple of years ago, I put together and hosted that fighting game shoot, right? And that was an absolute labor of love for me because I grew up playing fighting games. I cut my teeth on Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and so I said, I want fighting game characters. Let's all go and meet at this place at 2 o'clock or whatever, and we're going to do a bunch of shots. And I had another photographer show up, two of them, because Matt shot there a little bit too, so that was good for him. But I had a couple of photographers, and then so many people came, and it was amazing. Jinx was there, and we had a bunch of others that came and were in great gear. But the best part for me was I got to see all the characters that I love show up. And to me, there was like, okay, it's my fandom now. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many fandoms out there, and I'm so happy when people get to be part of their thing. But I was like, this is mine, and I don't get that very often because I have so much things that I like. But there you go, perfect example. I got to see Ryu doing friggin' amazing flying kick. That's Johnny, and he's phenomenal. He actually does martial arts, so that's a skill for real. But that's the kind of stuff that just totally made my heart happy. Jinx, did you get the shots from that same event that I sent out in the fighting game group, where I had done the fighting bars and stuff like that at the top, so you can see how much energy you have, all that stuff?
Yes, but I don't know where I saved it to.
Okay.
I'll have to search.
No
but yeah, let's talk about this real quick, because this was like one of the most, I think, well, I guess this is like another memorable group photo shoot I did with that, and it's with you. So I know you put this together, and you kind of reached out to people that you knew had like fighting game cosplays, right? Because I remember you said, hey, your Chun-Li costume, and I was like, yeah. And then I had just started doing Katana as well from Mortal Kombat. So this location is it's like on the back street of Main Street in Mesa, in downtown Mesa. My cat's joining the stream. Hi, Kiwi. And it actually was behind level 1, which was really cool because they saw us, and then they started inviting us in, which is really cool when like the local like community is like into it. You know what I mean? A couple more comments here. Cat Antherum from Facebook. Howdy. Thermo, you showed me that tunnel, Jinx. You showed me that tunnel, by the way. Oh, no, wait. Yeah. Was it you or was it Ty? I'm pretty sure it was one of you guys. Maybe it was Ty. Anyway, but I think it was that we went to do a shoot there, Sam. I think that's what you did. Poor Plaid, I bring the obscure, is what Thermo says. God loves you, Plaid. Do you do weddings? If so, Kiwi, you have to move your face. I can't read. I might have an offer for you if my friend hasn't already found a photog for her big day. Ooh, all right. Like PM him. PM Plaid there. So this shot, this is like one of the coolest shots ever. It's over here. And Johnny is he's a teacher, I think, too. I think he teaches martial arts as well. But he does a lot of like cosplay that he can use his martial arts with. So this is a really, really, really great shot. And we're going to kind of look on your Instagram and see if we can find a couple more of those photos. This is Amber Bright as Melina. And this was shot in the parking lot, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
It's basically like 2 feet over from where we were in the other shot.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get?
The sun was going down again. We're getting one of those glorious sunsets, so you can see that yellow behind her, and it just got prettier and prettier. And then I put a purple light in front of her, and I got that glow. And I don't know if it looks very natural, but it looks really cool for this character. That's all that mattered.
Well, I don't know if you can look natural with a face like that. So I think this works out really, really, really well. I know you've got a couple other here.
You're up there. So hold on, go down.
My cat keeps hitting my hand.
The Sailor Moon one's right there. If you go back up just a little bit, there you go. So those are some of my favorite ones. The one right next to Spider-Man, there we go. I love these shots. This is with Jin and Tronics, and she worked with me a bunch of times while she was here, and there we go. We just had a great working relationship, and she was always excited to help, put some stuff together. but she created this costume. She did an amazing job with it. And for me, this shot shows the importance of my creative team being around me. I love taking pictures. I push the camera. I'm an engineer by trade. I push the button and it makes sense to me. But my wife comes with me and she has a great eye for detail and for catching things. My friend Brian comes with me and he also has a really good eye because he used to be a photographer himself. And so like the two of them will help me. So what I had was both of them on either side holding up lights and then flinging her cape. So if you ever see, if you go through my stream, you'll find a bunch of shots of capes swishing and things like that. And almost always, if you picture like, where that white portion is, Brian or Tish are standing there holding, the way to make that cape fling, because that's kind of just what we do. And I love seeing that dynamic action in my photos where it looks like something is actually happening. I've seen so many photos where people are like, and they look bored, right? It's not interesting. I felt like this is an action hero. This is somebody that's going to be kicking butt. I want them to look like they just did something or they are doing something, as opposed to like, that's boring. So that's kind of what I went for, and it worked out really well for these shots because this character is just super. Speaking of Sailor Moon, this is a Sailor Moon Knight. So
so mashed up Sailor Moon and Moon Knight. That is a cool one. Actually, when I first saw those pictures like come across Instagram, I was like, oh my god, those are really cool. And I was like, oh, they're Plaid Hippos. That's awesome. And there's another one of Moon Knight there as a full body shot. Gosh, my cat just wants to be in this. She's like right in front of my screen. But I wanted to see if there were any more fighting game shoots, but I think I'm going back too far.
Yeah, that's too far. I'll send you one real quick back on the Facebook Messenger. It'll be easy.
And I have one that I want to share too. Let me pull this one up. So this one was a lot of fun. This has now become a thing. I don't know. We just figure out how to do this. We love to copy a meme. If you guys know, it's called Jealous Girlfriend. So if you're not familiar with it, and sorry, that's my butt. So I didn't warn anyone. So there's no trigger. But if you don't know what Jealous Girlfriend is, it's a stock photo that became super, super popular. And it was basically the dude, and he's got a girlfriend on his arm, and then he's looking at some other woman that's walking by. So it's been done a billion times in all sorts of different ways, but it's really fun when we can do it with cosplay. So that's actually my boyfriend. He's Johnny Cage. And this is Prissy Ariel. She's Melina. And we just thought it was really fun, like, oh, you like my sister with the teeth. Okay, got it. So that one was a lot of fun. We have a couple other ones that we did too, but I kind of want to go in like the order that we're talking. So I won't share those other ones yet, but there's that one. A couple other comments. Insomnimat, love Jin. Thermo, I need to set up the Mass Effect shoot now that I have 2 costumes. Plaid is amazing. Yes, so Thermo, I actually have a Liara on the list. So Thermos keeps bugging me to be like, let's do the shoot. So we'll have to find something really cool.
I've told Sam over and over again, I have the location.
So. Cool. All right. So Mass Effect shoot coming up. I don't know when. Definitely when the weather, when the temperature drops.
Yes.
Because I've got to paint. Yeah, I've got to paint my whole face and put on a prosthetic. So I will definitely be sweating under that. Kate says capes are the best. Tish, we're training up Aurora so she can be an assistant soon. She loves to help. She says hi to you both. Awesome. God loves you says, woo, superhero landing. Speaking of Katana, Duska, are you planning on doing her upcoming movie look? I'm thinking about it. I would love to do a couple more Katanas. This one was kind of like on a whim that I bought on Amazon. But another big group that we did. So I know people keep hearing us talking about Uwu. So really quick for the audience, UwuCon is a pop culture and animation convention that's here in the greater Phoenix area. They started in 2022, 23, 24, 25. Yes. So 2022 was their first year, and they brought Thermo and I as Cost Talk Live kind of at the last minute to run their cosplay. And so I think we had worked with you a little bit, and we invited a couple other photographers, just to come and see. It was a brand new con, so we definitely wanted to get as much, traction as we could. So you actually did a lot of shoots with us and our group. We did what did we do that you shot us? Oh, the My Hero Academia group. So that was a lot of fun. That venue was interesting. Insomnimat says
no longer possible.
Yeah. Insomnimat says 22 to ooh. Yeah, we actually started like planning out shoot areas, right? We were like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, because if anyone's a local that you know where to shoot at Phoenix Comic Con, or you know where to shoot at Sabo, right? There's all these different places where you always go to, and we started being like, oh, okay, we'll remember this spot, and then if you guys haven't been following the news, that venue is no longer. So we've moved venues. But
Twice.
yeah, but you did a One Piece group photo shoot with us, and I want to go ahead and bring this photo up. I had way too many pictures, so I couldn't remember which one to pick. So let me grab this one. And this was at UWU
The first
this
one.
was at
That's the
UWU
first one.
2023, so the second year.
Oh, okay.
No, it's the second one. Yeah, it's the second one for sure. So this was the second year we had it in that venue, and we don't have it in that venue anymore. But I thought this was so much fun because, number one, there's so many different people here. And I know you had quite a challenge to like get everyone in place. So is this the biggest group you've worked with?
It might be. I think there's one other one around that same size. When you have groups this big, the only thing you can really do is let some of them kind of corral themselves. So you yell to get one person to kind of be the head. With a group like this, everybody knew their characters and what they should be doing, and so it was kind of like, look, act natural per your character, and we'll get that shot. And everybody just kind of, they leaned into it. I mean, that's the thing. Again, that's what makes cosplay fun, is people love that character. They're cosplaying that person for a reason, right? And so people will ham it up, and that's what I want. That's the fun of it. So it's as much fun for me as it is for them to see that exact behavior. So it was a pretty good group, but I think it kind of handled itself pretty well.
And I love this because Thermo is a female Zoro, and then there's a male Zoro here, and they're both in the same pose. And I don't know if you guys planned that or it just happened, but that's pretty funny. And then this is Bunny Flop as Luffy, Amber Bright as Nami. So this is Chibi Raincloud as, oh my gosh, there's so many things to remember. Robin, right? Insomnimat as Chopper. Gosh, and then Sidekick Mouse and myself are both boas. So Thermo said it just happened. Yeah, and luckily we had a lot of open space at this venue that year. So we were able to corral a lot of people together, and then we broke up and did some other mini shoots. So this was really fun. I haven't seen One Piece, the anime. I've seen the show, but I really wanted to just be a part of the group. So I was like, oh, you're doing a One Piece group, and what people are doing not, and Plaid Hippo shooting it. Okay, I'll make something. So, and have you seen One Piece?
See, this is what I'm talking about. I watched the first half hour or a little bit less than that of the anime, and I was so utterly confused and bamboozled as to what was going on that I just kind of like, my wife and I were trying to watch it together. It was like late night before bed, and we're looking at each other. We're like, "Do you get this?" Like, no, I think it's bedtime. Let's go to bed. That was it. I gave it a try. I should do it again sometime when I have a little more time and energy. And I know how popular it is, and I'm sure it's wonderful. I don't know that we gave it a fair shake, but we definitely didn't get right into it. On the other hand, I watched like a few episodes of Demon Slayer, and that was really good. I liked that a lot. I didn't get a chance to finish it, but I used that as like prep for a shoot. I was shooting a Demon Slayer look, and she's like, watch like the first couple episodes. I'm like, great. And so I watched a couple of the episodes. I was like, this is good. Like, I like this. I didn't get a chance to finish through it, of course, but I was really happy with it. One Piece didn't quite hit me the same. But that's
yeah, and I know that
too, is with a lot of anime content. I haven't gotten into anime that much. Like, I grew up watching Transformers and G.I. Joe, so if you're dressed like Bumblebee, I'm gonna know that. But a lot of the like One Piece and the others, I'm like, I don't know it. So I rely on the cosplayer to tell me your passion. Tell me why you're cosplaying this character. What do they do? What do they like? What kind of stuff would they do for a picture? Stuff like that. So that's kind of like where the communication has to come across, and I have to be able to get I have to be able to get that out of the other person to say, this is what I would do. Oh, I love
yeah,
this.
Absolutely. And I do want to see One Piece, but sometimes when series are like done, but they're like, 10, 11, 12 seasons, I get really unmotivated to watch it. But like I said, I did catch the Netflix first series. I really loved it. Here's another version of the Jealous Girlfriend. So of course you wouldn't have known this, and I don't even really know this. So I was like, can we do a Jealous Girlfriend with something? And so Bunny Flop's like, yeah, because Luffy loves meat. So that's why she had this giant meat plush. And I guess at some point in the show, Luffy and Boa are a couple. So we did a couple versions of this, right? There was Ace, who is Luffy's brother, is there. We replaced the meat with that and some other things. But I think this is the best one from that group is the Jealous Girlfriend meat edition.
Do you have from the Princess shoot the Jealous Girlfriend shot we did?
No, I don't. Maybe.
So
sure.
Princess shoot. Picture all the Disney princesses. All your favorites are there. And what I didn't tell any of the ladies there was that years ago my wife made me an Aladdin costume. And so I ran to the car, put on my Aladdin costume, and popped back out. And they're like, "What?" And so what I did is I said, "Okay, I want to do a Jealous Girlfriend bit." And I think this might be your first introduction to how weird I can be. But we decided it would be funny, right? So we had a Jasmine there, so I was holding Jasmine's hand, and my friend was walking by as Mulan, and so I'm like, checking out Mulan, and it just, it was the thing to do. It was just something fun and something silly, and it's always fun to do that. The other well-known meme that I like to do is at Phoenix Fan Fusion, they do a Spider-Verse meetup. And so you'll get every variation of Spider-Man from all these different places. And, they have to do the pointing, like, you're Spider-Man, that bit. And we did that at Fan Fusion a couple of years ago, and it was like 50 Spider-Man just pointing at each other. And it was fantastic. It was exactly what it would look like. God. Chaos and wonderful comedy. So it's fun to do some of that stuff. Because people just get it, right? Everybody's on the internet, everybody gets the joke. And it's just fun to watch the reaction to something like that, especially when it's that big. So actually, you asked how big of a group I've done. You're asking how big of a group I've done. The Fan Fusion Spider-Verse is probably the biggest group because it's just a ton of people. And so I'll corral them together as best I can and then shoot what I can. And then usually a bunch of other photographers will jump in behind me. And then they'll split up into whatever groups they can. And, somebody will get poached and say, yeah, I want to shoot this guy. I want to shoot that guy, whatever. So. Yeah,
that's the great thing about those meetups too, is that a lot of photographers, a lot of cosplayers, a lot of collaboration going on at the same time. Insomnimat says, One Piece, it's a lot, but thanks so much for those pics. There's like 1,600 episodes. Oh my gosh, it's a lot. I'm still trying to get through One Piece. Jeez, I do want to watch it though. But you mentioned that you have an Aladdin costume, so we're gonna jump over to another picture that we did earlier this year. And actually we drove down to the dunes. So yes, these are the dunes that were used to shoot. Is it Return of the Jedi? I think.
That would make the most sense.
Yeah. And so it's down in Yuma. I actually did this. So I was Jasmine as well. And then that's Ashley does cosplay as the red Jasmine. The servant Jasmine, and then you're in your Aladdin street rat outfit. And we did a couple versions of this, right? Like I said, we've done before, different combinations. Of course, this is my favorite one. But the funny thing about this is the behind the scenes.
I'm so glad you have that. That's great.
Yes. So, and then you can see like the sand, like I'm like trying to not get sand in my eye. So really cool to see, like reality versus what you think it's gonna look like. So this is a lot of fun. Ashley is, and of course carpet's looking really good there, and then we see the behind the scenes. Yes, jealous carpet. Yeah, so we had a lot of fun behind the scenes with this shoot. So let's go ahead and talk about the Yuma shoot, because was that your idea? I think
it's Yuma. Was it my idea?
Yeah,
no, I think. Yeah. God, who asked? Somebody said we're going to Yuma and let's do this. I think it might have been Ashley. I'm not 100% sure.
It might have been Amber.
Like, okay.
Yeah, because Amber does. They do a lot of Star Wars shoots down there. So we did. This was back in February. So February is the perfect time to do the sand dune shoot. It was my birthday, Thermo said. Oh, end of Jan? Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we went to the Renaissance Fair as well. So Yuma is about a 3-hour drive southwest from where we live in Metro Phoenix. And the dunes are like massive. Like people camp there, people like can ride their ATVs and stuff. And there are a lot of photo shoots that are done there. So we showed up just before sunset, just before golden hour. I got this really cool shot of you. You don't often see like behind the scenes shots. Let's see.
Oh, that's fun.
So we actually got there for golden hour. Yeah. And then they did, who is it? Ashley does cosplay, Thermo and Amber Bright all did a Star Wars look. And this was kind of down at the bottom of the dunes because we had gotten there in the evening, and that's just how it happened because I think we went down on like a Friday after like people were done working and stuff. So we did kind of like a flat dune shoot, really cool. This is more about the lighting effects. And I think you have a light bar there too. Mm-hmm. That's what's making the flash. But yeah, and I was kind of just capturing everyone's like shoots because we had you there, and then we had Amber Bright's husband, Mission Control. Thermo said I suggested it, invited folks because I love you all. Yes, thank you. We love you too, Sam. So this was really cool, and it was such a nice temperature that night too. Like I was like, we could shoot here all night, but of course, then you lose the light. So,
do you have the resulting photo from that? Because those pictures came out great. Ashley looked amazing, and those pictures came out really good. I was really happy with that.
Do you have them on your Instagram?
It might be on my Instagram. It turned out really well. I was really happy. Ashley looks amazing no matter what really she does. Cool.
Let me see. We are searching. Okay, there's me. There's Thermo. No, I don't think you have it. I don't think you have hers on here.
Okay, you might have to look at her actual Instagram to see it.
Let's take a look. Let's find Ashley. But yeah, so this was a whole weekend that we did. So we rented an Airbnb for anyone that's never like done the dunes and you're interested. So we rented an Airbnb. It was a really lovely house. It had plenty of space. It was you, Tish, and Aurora, me and Thermo, Ashley, and then Amber and husband. So 8 of us were in there very comfortably. And it's not a very big place, Yuma. So it doesn't really matter where you get it from, where you stay. But we did have, and then I think we had 2 cars that we drove up. So let me just pull up Ashley's Instagram here. So we did that. And then we did the 2 Rivers Renaissance Fair the next day. And that was a really cute weekend event. It was smaller, but we had met the people that run it, or some representatives when Thermo and I were at UmaCon just the previous year, and that's what Thermo wanted to do for her birthday, so we all went along and just did our Renaissance thing. And then the next morning we drove back up to the dunes to shoot before we drove up back home. So let me see. Thermo has videos on her Insta.
I have 1 or 2 shots from there on my Instagram, I think Ashley would have some too.
That one's okay. Oh, is this one it? Let me see. Yes. Okay. So I found 1 photo. Let me take a look. This one's Ashley's, and she did a Padme with some added effects there. Yeah. So, I mean, gosh, even like, I love how it's like, you can see the sand granules at her feet, and then it just gradually like fades, and then the sun on the sand, the sunset on the sand, it looks so gorgeous. So this is a really, really great shot.
Yeah, and I have to thank you guys for bringing me out to go with you guys, because I don't know that I would ever had the guts to go out and just let me bring a random cosplayer out here in the desert. Hey. No, that's how the stories start on like NCIS or something. So
yeah,
we're gonna do that.
And we definitely want to do it again, but I also want to suggest a winter shoot. So I keep forgetting. I had it in my brain. And I was like, oh, I'm going to message the Dunes group, but I kept forgetting. But I do want to do like a snow shoot because I have done one before. That's probably going to be actually more in March or April, believe it or not. That's when it gets really heavy snow. So this is Ashley's. This is another one from the dunes. And who shot this one? Oh, you shot this one. Okay, so this was from the morning. So let's move on to the morning. That one was a lot of fun. We went to go find a different location because we didn't want the same kind of look for the dunes. So we're like, hey, let's go up the dunes, which was a terrible idea for myself because I don't work out. I mean, it was totally worth it because we got shots like this, but I was dead, absolutely dead. So let me find a video from Thermo's page, but it was really worth it. I loved the morning sun. I did Jasmine as well. Thermo brought out Workshop Ruby from Fallout, and then Amber did another, I think she did her personal or custom character Star Wars. So let me just scroll down. Yeah, or not a T-Wing. I think it was the Nautilus, the big whoosh thing with all the.
Maybe.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, let's see. Well, we've got some videos to prove it. So, what's this video? Okay.
Do we want to talk about how Thermo almost left her car in the desert?
Oh my God! How we were like, I don't know if you should drive over. Okay, we're driving over there, and then yeah,
Stuck.
She almost lost her car. We all had to get out and push, because she has a little, in cosplay she has a little VW bug, and it looked pretty flat. You know, we definitely did not know what we were doing. So here's a couple of videos that Thermo shot.
Yeah.
So that's Amber's Nautilus. That's amazing. So these have audio, but I just haven't turned on the audio. But it was so much fun. The dunes were just exhausting.
But I mean, they look so amazing. Like nothing looks like this. You know what I mean? Like you can go out into the desert around Arizona, and nothing looks this way. And there's even, you know, just a little tiny bit of space that looks like this, and that's it. Hey, there's my wife.
Yep. And you can see we were all working really hard to get to the top of these dunes because these shots were amazing, but oof, it was exhausting and a lot of sand. Everything had sand everywhere. So
such a flattering close-up.
I know, but you can see like how far down she is and how far up we are.
Oh, yeah, we were there in the background there, right?
Yeah, and that was me taking a break as I was trying to get up to the top. That's Ashley rethinking her life. Why am I doing this? And everyone else catching up. I think we got a couple other fun videos. I can't believe Amber got in her Nautilus. Like she was that is such dedication. But just a beautiful space. Look at those dunes back there with no footprints. Yeah. So if you guys ever have wanted to do the dune shoot, and I've always wanted to do a dune shoot, so this was really, 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 really cool.
Yeah. And by the way, I would be happy to go do another dune shoot. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Trying to do it again.
Yes. So Letitia, the time and dedication of cosplayers and photographers to get this shot is amazing. Yes, and we can't do it alone. You know, there's people behind the scenes too. Tish, you got in a costume too that day. Thermo, LMFAO, that shot right at the edge of the street, pushing cosplay. That poor car had been through so much. So the dunes, so much freaking fun. So much fun. And this is at the top of the dunes. Thermo did a lot of her own videos. But here, CTL and friends in the dunes. So this was the night before. Yeah, this was just down on ground level. Mm-hmm. So that's Amber and Mission Controls. Geez, the lightsaber looks crazy.
Yeah, that looks really good. I like that a lot.
And then that's me. All right. So I also have another, let me see if I have what other photos I pulled from that one. Oh, I thought I pulled the Jasmine on the carpet one. That one was a lot of fun. Let me see if I can find that one. I know that one's on my Instagram. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's on my Instagram. It only took a
little bit of Photoshop too.
And carrying a table.
That actually was probably harder than I had to work with Photoshop. So, yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I think, well, I didn't carry it. That's why I agree. But yeah, carrying the table, I was like, that doesn't sound like fun. But the shot was a lot of fun. So this is the shot that we got. And I'm so glad because then I can finally retire this costume. It's just a purchase costume, but I got, the shots that I wanted. So this was actually on a table. Do you want to talk about this photo?
So I think one of those things we get to do is, you plan what the shot should be before you take it. What we wanted was, we had the flying carpet and we had Jasmine. I said, this is perfect. So we put her on the table, put the flying carpet on top of that and put her on top of that. And with a lot of time and care, I was able to Photoshop the legs off of the table. And I have to admit, it doesn't look perfect. I know that there's a Hollywood artist that's way better than me that can make it look great. But it's just, it gives you the feeling. And for me, that's kind of the key. Like, I want to give you the emotion and give you the idea of what's happening. And then it. Like, your heart will take care of the rest. You don't have to think about it. So it turned out really well. Carrying the table was questionable. But, it's again, like Tish said, it's what you do for the love of cosplay, right? We did this together and we knew we'd get something fun out of it. And that's the goal.
And we were like, this table isn't going up the dunes, right? So we had to figure out the angle, didn't we? We were like, okay, well, what looks like it could be up higher? So this was actually at ground level. And I don't have a behind the scenes of this one, but this was pretty funny because I think I was sitting under it, and then you guys walked up and you could only see my feet. I was like, yeah, let's do that.
I do think there's a picture of that.
Yeah.
Where you just saw feet sticking out behind the table.
Yeah. Insomnimat says, wow, I've never seen that Jasmine photo on the carpet. This one's on my Instagram. And what I love what you just said there is that your heart will take care of the rest. I think that's very cosplay, because cosplay photography, and this is how I see it when I'm collaborating, is not always about the perfection or the techniques or the after effects. It's the story. I really think the story, the connection, and you're right. This looks great to me. I think it's fine. I understand what you mean. It probably wouldn't win a Photoshop whatever competition, but you're right. Your heart will be like, oh, I remember this, and then you think of the scene in the movie, right? Maybe this, when I was posing here, I kind of was thinking of that the part in the animated film where Jasmine kind of puts her hand down and touches the water. That's what I was thinking of when I was doing this pose. Yeah.
And I think that was the key for me. And that's kind of why I switched over from what I was doing before. When I started learning photography, I was part of groups and stuff. And the groups often would call in models. We're in Arizona. It's party capital. There's lots of pretty women around. So they're pretty girl here, pretty girl there. And it's that's great, but there's only so many ways to get pictures of the next pretty girl. And it's it got a little boring. And my wife was into cosplay already. She liked to dress up, and she makes the Victorian costumes and stuff like that. That's what you saw in some of the videos in the background, was she was in black. And so we did steampunk and we did Victorian stuff. And that's when we discovered fan fusion. And it was oh, this whole world that is so much more interesting. There's passion. There's love for these characters. There's love for these stories. And I can be part of that and do the storytelling for it and help make it much more interesting. And then like you said earlier, your brain fills in the rest. It's kind of playing on the nostalgia or the feelings that character gives you. And that's kind of what I love about it. It was really easy to go, I don't need to shoot models anymore. Yeah, they're pretty and that's great. But it's less interesting and less fun from a creative perspective than what I can do with all these different characters, right? And there's so much entertainment out there. There's so many unique individual characters already that people know and love. Plus people Amber has a great habit of creating new characters, right? This is my own original character, stuff like that. And you make up these stories and you just try to create ways to tell those stories. And it's really fun. It's more interesting to me personally than, pretty girl B, pretty girl C, pretty girl D. Okay, we're good. We've seen pretty girls. Let's move on. So for me, that was a real easy change. And that's why, because that storytelling and that passion is so much more appealing than just, attractive people.
Yeah. And then God Loves You says, what do you mean? There's no table there. That's a real magic carpet. And yes, it is.
Darn right.
Yeah. So I I didn't have a lot of time to plan for this trip. I just had a lot on my plate, but I really wanted to make sure that I was able to contribute somehow. So to be able to bring my Jasmine out there was a lot of fun. And also hanging out, and it was, nice having Trish too, because she finally put in a costume and took some photos. We're like, hey, you can, you're a great help, but you could also be in front of the camera too. So she got in costume on the second or the last day when we all went to the dunes right before we left. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here we are, Aladdin and his Jasmine. Yeah, so that was really cool, and you can see like how unglamorous it is now with all like the chords and whatever in the background. But that's also the magic of cosplay, right? Is taking that that specific angle and that specific shot and getting that story in there. So let's talk about a couple of your favorite shots. Where do you want to start with that?
Gosh, that's hard. So some of the things that I think I really loved, I really enjoyed the ones we showed earlier with Sailor Moon Knight. The cape flipping, everything like that worked really well. There's one way down in my Instagram. I'm gonna see if I can find you that.
You didn't send it to me?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it and send it to you.
Okay.
It's a picture of May. I don't know if you know her. She came to my house. She put on a costume that we had for actually my mother-in-law.
Oh.
my wife and her mom created costumes for Ren Fair.
Oh yeah, right.
She put on that Ren Fair costume, and we went to a local place that has a bunch of trees, and we had her do the Big Bad Wolf. And so she was like Red Riding Hood, so she was all red, and then she had a basket with the wolf head in it, like she kind of won the battle kind of style. And the fun part for me was that I planned what I wanted it to look like. And I think it was like the first time that it worked out so well, but I planned what I wanted it to look like. I planned the lighting. I planned the help. Tish was there to help with like cape flinging. I put everything together, and with almost no Photoshop, I got the shot that I wanted. And for me as like a starting amateur photographer, I was like, this is it. This is what I want, I'm going to see if I can find you that link. It's hard to get to.
Yeah, I'm trying to look too, and I'm like, I don't think I'm finding it. But no worry,
it's way down.
Okay.
It's way down, but
yeah.
It was one of the first times that I just been able to create my vision. Like that's the thing, is like a lot of times when I was starting out, especially, and I'm still guilty of it sometimes. I have somebody amazing in front of me. I'll give you an example. I shot today with Ashley Does Cosplay. She does amazing work, and she's so good at posing herself that I almost don't say anything, and I just take a picture of what's in front of me. But to do a little better than that from a photography perspective, I wanted to put in my thought and say, let me create the shot. And to me, that's why this shot was so meaningful, is because I created everything about it that I wanted. Oh, I think my wife just sent it to me. There we go. She's the best.
Thermo said, Plaid and Tish had me climb on a tree one time, and it was scary but amazing. I love getting in trees. I climbed a tree to shoot Moana when I was in Hawaii. Actually, I did it twice. I did Moana twice in a tree, but that was fun. And then God Loves You, Plaid, have you ever wanted to try doing fan films? I feel like that's a whole nother like can of worms.
Actually, ironically, that's one of the things I talked about today with Ashley, was I wanted to do some more kind of reel style content. So like TikToks, but I'm old and I don't use TikTok, so I'm going to call them reels for Instagram.
Same. I don't use TikTok either.
Sorry, I know I don't fit in. I don't care anymore. I'm cranky enough that I can get away with that, right? Get off my lawn. But I want to try to play with it a little bit. I like the storytelling that the moving picture medium can show. And so I've been trying to think of ways to do that. The hard part is real good video editing takes a lot of time and effort. And I don't know if I said it before, but this is my hobby. I love doing photography, but I have a full-time job. I'm an engineer, and I'm busy most days, day and night. And then I have a kid who's active in sports. So how much time do I have left to do photo shoots? Not a whole lot. I do maybe 1 or 2 a month if I'm lucky. And especially with Halloween now, I might get a couple more. But in general, I don't get a chance to shoot that much. So yes, I would love to do video. I think it would be a lot of fun. I think I've upgraded my equipment recently, so I think the equipment will make the shots look phenomenal. but the amount of effort and time it takes to put it together, and by the time you get done with that, it's hard to, the content almost gets out of date, right? It's not fresh anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
there's a cost to it, and because I'm not editing on a phone, because I'm not using like AI to edit everything, which I probably could be, because of those things, it's like I take a little bit longer, and I think it makes it harder to be upfront with something, like here it is, the fresh new thing, so
100%. Like keeping up with trends is hard, super hard. And then I
I'm
think I
still doing
shoot,
memes from 10 years ago.
and I'll do like 10 minutes of like, video, and I have to squeeze it down to like 30 seconds. I'm like, God, I can't do it all the time. But you did mention Halloween, and you sent me a couple of photos that are your favorites. So we are, gosh, almost out of time. I cannot believe it. You were worried, but I was like, hey, we can cut it short. But hey, we have so much great content to go over. But you did mention Halloween's coming up, so we're kind of putting together a shoot to do, and you did this one last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jin helped me with this one last year. We got in touch with a local haunted house, and they allowed us to come and use their grounds. The crazy part is this shot was in broad daylight, like 10 o'clock. And the hard part was trying to make it look scary with full sun. So we did a lot of playing around with lighting, playing around with atmosphere. This honestly was just dust in the air, because Arizona is dusty, and the sunlight streaming through it. And seriously, I mean, it's wild because it looks scarier than it ever was. But yeah, we set up this Halloween shoot at this haunted house last year. It turned out phenomenal. This is a picture of Amber Bright looking scary as hell. And so we're doing that again this year. I've got a couple of people that are interested, so we're going to do that. I've got a couple of photographers that are really excited about the opportunity, and so we're going to go shoot again and make a little magic. So
so this character is the witch from I believe this is the witch from Left 4 Dead. Yes. I don't know why she's wearing a crown. Maybe it's some backstory, I don't know. But yeah, this is really cool. I was almost thinking like, oh, I could be Zoe and then Amber could be the witch. And I was like, oh shoot, she's already done that. So I don't know yet what I'm gonna do. But you did send me a link to that other photo. There. This one, right?
Yes.
So talk about this one. This is 358 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. But like I said, I felt like I was still kind of amateur hour. But I envisioned a shot in my head. I said, I want a shot like this with kind of Red Riding Hood running through the forest. And I wanted it to look scary. I wanted there to be smog, that kind of thing. And I put all of the elements together, and I had Tish helping. So there's, she's like right off camera, just to the left side. And, that's the kind of thing that like we had all of the elements come together, and it just made me feel like I accomplished what I set out to accomplish. And that was what was really cool about it. And you can't really see her very well, but right at the bottom of the screen, the lady with her glasses, that's the same woman in the picture above. Yeah.
Oh, this is the same person?
Yeah, that's me.
What?
So yeah,
that's crazy.
Not the same day. Not the same day.
Not the same day. But yeah, we are kind of cutting short on time. So let me pull up this one photo that you did send me. That we talked about before. And this was from the fighting game shoot. And so very classic fighting game characters. And then you sent this edited photo, which I understand it was like quite some time after, but yeah, working full time, it's not easy.
Yeah,
but this was a lot of fun, and I really
appreciate it. Yeah, and I mean, as a kid, I grew up playing Mortal Kombat. I grew up playing Street Fighter. Seeing these characters playing against each other, and of course it's the Mortal Kombat background, so oh well, ignore that. But putting it together was like, this makes my heart happy. This is my passion, right? So it was just super fun to do that. And then I created kind of the template for the power bars up at the top of the screen, and then I had the same shot set up, and I put my camera on a tripod, and I cycled through the people that were in the shoot. And I said, okay, now Melina fights against Ryu, or Ryu fights against Johnny Cage, or whatever. And we just went through and kind of cycled the combinations that we could, and it made it really fun. And then I just put the bar at the top to make it kind of like, this character against this character or whatever. And so everybody has a certain couple of combinations of them against this guy and them against that guy. But it feels right, and it made sense in the context of these characters. And, like we had like Johnny Cage against Ryu, which growing up playing those games, it's like, this is the dream matchup. It still hasn't happened, right? There's a new Mortal Kombat game coming, and it's still not happening. But, you know, Street Fighter has crossed with everything from, you know, Fatal Fury to like
Marvel versus Capcom,
right.
Marvel versus SNK, and SNK versus Capcom. Well, yeah, definitely. And gosh, I forgot you had that really cool Johnny Cage one, and I think was it Sub-Zero, where he had shot the, or was it Scorpion? I can't remember. And had
he shot it out.
Yeah, so that was really cool. And actually, I'm in love with this corner. Do you remember we were like, hey, this looks like it would be some random, you know, scene in the fighting game, and it completely works, like the wrong way sign was something that maybe a character would kick off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was perfect. I mean, we didn't know how to make it work for this type of shot. And then like literally we were shooting kind of pointed to the right side. And as we just turned our head, it's like, oh my God, this is perfect. This is a great background. I can picture it scrolling, you know, left and right as you go through, and it's dead on. And if you look very carefully in like the bottom left corner, there's like red right there. That's where the other photographer had set up his setup and was shooting. So you can't really tell from here, but that right there exactly is the other photographer's setup. But we were able to get through and get a whole bunch of combinations. And so I don't know how many people we had for that shoot. I think there were maybe 10, 15 cosplayers we got, which is very high for cosplayers.
Yes.
Right.
But we had good turnout.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, the fun part for me was I've seen, you know, as I've been shooting with different cosplayers, I've seen the cosplayers that have kind of a bigger and bigger following, and people came that I didn't know very well. And I was like, oh, you have like 15,000 followers. That's cool. Welcome to the show, you know? And so I was like, are people seeing my work now? That's kind of exciting, you know? So that felt kind of cool for me. But for me, this especially was absolutely like, I want to make something with characters that I know and love. And I
it was cool because I knew Johnny had this Ryu, you know, and everyone knows I have Chun-Li. So I'm like, okay, at some point I will have to fight versus Ryu, and it happened. So that was really cool. And then to the right over here, if we had like turned the camera, that's the back of level 1. So level 1's a bar arcade, and they actually invited us in and we were able to do some photos in there too. So that was really cool. They weren't like, hey, get off our lawn, you know. They were like, come on in. A couple more comments here that I want to make sure I get out there. Insomnimat shooting in a haunted house. Well, let me know if that ever happens again. It is happening, so we will let you know. Tish says, we use baby powder for the background. Okay, so that photo of May, and I ran and sprayed the powder, then flipped her cape. Like, so many practical effects. That's really cool. And God loves you. Jessica, what do you think of casting choice for Chun-Li in the upcoming Street Fighter movie? I will take a look because I'm not aware of who that is yet. But we had more photos to show. But guys, if you are interested, you can check out his Instagram. Let me just pull it up here for y'all. Check out his Instagram, follow it, see all the cool stuff. So I'm going to send this link. It goes to all of our platforms. Follow Plaid Hippo, and let's wrap it up. So any final thoughts on, you know, the cosplay world, your photography, anything?
No, I'm excited to be a part of the world. And, you know, if you guys have something fun that you want to do, let me know. I love working with people, and I love creative efforts, especially.
Yeah, I think you're probably one of the most, what's the word? I can't think of the word, but you're down for like anything. Like, as long as it's within your, you know, your own boundaries, right? You're like, you're open to try new things and like do different shots, and that's, the word is escaping me, but I love working with you, because if I come up with something, even if you're like, that's not quite what, but let's try something or whatever, and we come up with something that's really cool. So guys, you can also find Plaid Hippo. He's coming back to Uwu, so we've invited him back to Uwu to be one of our media photographers. So he's always providing really awesome photos from Uwu. So, and if you don't have your Uwu tickets, uwu.com, get your tickets. They're only $50 for the whole event, and Friday is free. So be sure you check that out. You'll see Plaid Hippo. Have you seen your photos on our website?
I did, actually. Yeah, that was kind of fun.
Yeah. So we were able to utilize your photos. You know, I'll be using them in the opening ceremonies when we do some throwbacks to the past Uwu cons. And it's at a brand new venue. So it's Mesa Convention Center, October 17th through the 19th. Friday, we have an awesome free kickoff festival. And I'm super excited because I got to do a lot of the planning for that. So we'll have food trucks. We have cost swap, so it's like a cosplay swap meet. We will have a lot of entertainment and a headliner that they're going to announce very soon. We'll have a cosplay walk-on. And if you do have your badge, there's sneak peeks. You can check out the cosplay village early. You can visit some of the VAs. And there's also sing-alongs. We have a Has-Been Hotel sing-along, a Disney sing-along, and a Steven Universe sing-along. So that's all Friday night. And again, like if you don't have a full badge, there's still free events. And then of course, if you do, you can check out all these other events. And then Saturday and Sunday, both those days, $50 for the whole event. We've got K-pop Demon Hunter Saja Boys voice actors. So you guys should come by. Yeah, thank you so much, Plaid Hippo, for taking the time to talk about your craft. We don't often get to see, we see tons of photos, right? Like that's the thing. You see a photo of a cosplayer, someone's got to be taking it, unless it's your selfie stick. But we definitely want to expose those cosplay photographers out there that help us look good. Because if we just dressed up and sat in our house, then we're just in a costume in our house. So guys, you can find me. I'm Jinx Cosplay. I'm on the socials as at the Jinx Cosplay, as well as my website, jinxcosplay.com. And Plaid Hippo, where can people find you?
Same thing as plaidhippo.com, and that's just going to link you to the Facebook for Plaid Hippo Productions and the Instagram. Instagram is updated a lot more often, so you're going to find a lot more of the recent pictures on there. I haven't updated Facebook quite as much. However, Facebook does have 3D photos, which is kind of cool. So for a while, everybody was doing 3D stuff. So if you want to look at something a little different, it's the same picture, but kind of, move your phone around and see it a little differently. So those are kind of fun. But those are the best ways to get a hold of me. Instagram is probably the best to reach out if you need something.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're a cosplayer and you want to shoot with a new photographer, you have some ideas, send Plaid Hippo a message. We do have that Halloween shoot coming up, but I think we're all full on that. But I will let you know, Matt. And guys, thank you so much for joining. We are Cost Talk Live. You can find us at on the socials as at the Cost Talk at Cost Talk Live, and we stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and you can find us on Instagram. We are sponsored by Age of Radio, so you can check us out there as well. Our next show is coming up, I believe, is Amber Bright Creates, which I think is going to be this coming up Thursday, and of course Thermo Gaming, which she does every Friday. She games with Mass Effect. So once again, thank you so much, Plaid Hippo. Thank you, Tish, for your support, and all of our awesome viewers. We appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Bye.